Good afternoon. In this video, I'm going to go through the Poll Everywhere website. So whether you use a Windows PC, a Mac, or you are using a machine that operates on Linux, you should be able to access polleverywhere.com. So this is the home page right here. And this kind of gives you an idea as to what this product does. You can convert your classroom or your meeting of any sort, so a business meeting even, into a more interactive, a more collaborative meeting. And you have many neat options when creating polls through Poll Everywhere. In previous videos, I demonstrated how these could be embedded into Google slide presentations and PowerPoint presentations. However, there are other apps that these activities can be embedded to. Now, some of the integrations are limited, but you do have multiple options. So there's many video conferencing products that this can be integrated with, as well as other chatting products or software. So this is the home page. And if one wants to get started, you see I'm already logged in. So it brings me to the home page. But if you want to get started, you can click login and you can create an account with your work email or school email, but you can also simply sign in with a Google account or an Apple account. I'm signed in with a Google account. Now, this will have access to some of your Google information. So, that's a mild risk, but it saves you the time of having to remember a new password. But I'm logged in with the Google account, and let's look at the pricing. Now, these are your business and nonprofit plans. Now, the free plan in a business plan is limited to 25 responses, whereas the present is limited to 700. It's a much larger, audience size. So if you are one that presents at medium-sized conferences pretty often, you probably want to go with this one or even the Engage, which has everything in the present plan plus a couple of more features. And the teens and the enterprise accounts are a bit pricier, though they do have a few more options, such as branding on your polls. You can really customize your polls to reflect your brand. And now if you switch this to the monthly, okay, because see, these plans here, they build annually. Now if you go monthly, you're paying a bit more per month with the Engage and with the Teams option. The present stays pretty much the same, and the same thing with the enterprise here. You also have some higher education plans as well as some K through 12 plans. You have the one-time use plans now. Unless you are hosting a mega conference of some sort, you probably won't look too much at these plans because it's a one-time payment. Now, the audience size is large, but it's a one-time payment. And that's kind of it once you finish that event. So if you're going to be presenting rather often, you'll probably want to go with one of these business plans here. And if you know you're going to use this regularly, you'll probably want to go with one of these two, or even the teams. Now, if you are a teacher and you have very small classes, this will probably work for you, this free plan and the business plan. Now, if we go back to the higher ed plans, there is a free one and it is limited to 40 responses. So you have a 40 max audience size. So if you have a medium sized class, so I'd say like around 30 students, you'll probably want to go with a plan such as this one. You can also offset the cost of this product onto students by going with this option. And it's $13.99 per year, per student. Now, you do have an individual instructor plan. It's $349 a semester. And you do have the 700 max audience size. But if you're looking for this feature, you'll probably want to go with the present plan. If you're looking to save money, if you're looking for something that's not so costly, you're paying $120 per year versus $349 per semester. This present plan right here, if one does the math, that comes out to $10 a month. And of course, you have department-wide plans and university-wide plans. And you have some K through 12 education plans as well. And now these are very limited. The free and the premium are limited to 40 responses. So if you're a K through 12 teacher and you teach at a relatively large school, you'll probably want to look at one of the business and nonprofit plans. And you also have a school-wide plan as well, where a K through 12 school-wide plan does have a 200 audience max size. Now, if a school is going to go with one of the school-wide plans, they probably do want to make sure that there's going to be significant use from this tool. And the same thing with the department-wide and university-wide plans in higher ed. Sure, you have the 700 audience max size, the 700 max audience size, and then with the university-wide, it's going to be custom. So you'll need to contact sales for that. You see you have other resources, so attendees and Poll Everywhere blog. You have webinars and other video guides, case studies, guides. There's your support center. You have solutions here like remote work, learning and development, events, and other solutions for the K through 12 and higher ed up here. And I'm logged in, And so now let's look at some of the apps. So as you know, this is compatible with PowerPoint, Google Slides, and even the Apple Keynote. So if you use a Mac and you use the Keynote product, you can add this to a Keynote presentation as well. Now, Poll Everywhere is also integratable with Slack as well as with Teams. Now, with Teams, it is limited to basic multiple choice questions. You don't get all the other options that you would get when you create an activity directly in Poll Everywhere or even with a PowerPoint. And with Slack, you're limited to the multiple choice options and the Q&A. You see this is compatible with WebEx, Zoom. You see there's a Poll Everywhere mobile app. So if you are sitting in on a presentation and the presenter gives you the option to respond by going to pollev.com/their username, you can, if you have this app, you can simply type in the username when you open that app and you'll immediately be brought to the active poll that the presenter has at the time. So now I'm going to, let's see, go home and go to my activities page. So this is what it will look like when you're logged in. If you're on any teams, there are any participants. Here are your activities. You can create an activity by clicking this button. You can also sort these by folders, so you can add folders. So if we go into the activities now, let's take a look. So you have your multiple choice, you have word clouds, Q&A, where participants respond to a question and then they can upvote or downvote on other answers. There's the clickable image option, the survey, your open-ended competition. So teams, answer questions and they see who can answer the quickest. There's the donut chart, the icebreaker, upvote, leaderboard, the emotion scale. And you can actually create a similar question if you just go to a multiple choice question and you see this icon right here. This represents an image. So if you want to add an image of your own, you can add an image there. And this is what it will look like. Of course, you'll want to find your emojis or images in clipart or Google Images. Or if you are good at creating graphics, you can create your own. And you'll need to save them, and then you'll just upload these accordingly. And then when you've got that question saved, you can just create. You have discussions, brainstorm, which is another form of discussion, rank, select on a map, short answer. If you have any groups, you can assign this activity to a group. There's this matrix option here. Help, presenter tips. You can invite other presenters. You can go to your profile. That's the account admin. And to give you an idea as to what this will look like. So let's say I want to click on one of these. So whenever you're ready to present, okay, you can activate a poll. Also, when you go in to a poll, you can configure your poll here. So you can have your participants respond at a website, or they can respond via text. And when it comes to text messaging, you can actually do both, the website and or text. When it comes to the text messaging options, so if I hold the left button down on my mouse and I drag down, you see I can have participants text my username to this number, or they can text, and this is for a question where it's going to be an open-ended question. They'll text a code followed by their message. I can restrict who I want to participate. I can do response settings. And now this option here, if you're on a limited plan, you do want to be careful about this. You probably would want to go with up to one time. And by default, we can allow. And now if you're texting your answer, this won't work. But if you are joining the poll from a link and the presenter does allow for changes, you can change an answer. And you can have a custom reply message after each response with an upgraded account. And there's moderation. So if we test this out, we can test that out there. And if we want to send, okay, so this is what an active poll will look like. But if we want to send, okay, we can go from the web, we can share and embed. So this is the response link. Or if you want to embed this into, a web page, you can do that. And you'll need to embed that HTML code there. So now if you want to go to the active or to the poll web page, there's this link. And this is of course for the live. And if you want to embed this on a website somewhere, you can embed in the live presentation view. So basically you see answers right away. But now this response link though, this is for activities that are more or less asynchronous, and if you want these participants to answer at a later date or at a later time, or to answer more or less on their free time, you would embed one of these. So you can copy the response link, or you can embed this. So let's say you're on a Canvas site. Let me leave the student view. And I'm just going to go to one of my mock courses. And I'm going to go into one of my modules. I'm going to click edit. I'm going to put that on a page. I'm going to turn on the HTML editor. And I'm going to go back to this poll, and I'm going to just show you where I went to the copy embed script. And now I'm going to go back to my page, and I'm just going to paste this HTML. And there it is. And you see that the participants will have the option to type their name, or they can skip. And once they've done so, they can submit their response like that. And they're going to be responding as a guest. If I want to modify the visual settings, I can do that. So this is the text wall here. But if I want to do a word cloud, I can do that. If I want to do a cluster or a spotlight, I can also do that. And then I can save those changes. If I want to change the theme from bright to classic, I can. Or if I want to go dark, I can do that. And if I want to see, like for the spotlight or the text wall or even the cluster, I want to see these move around a little slower, I can do that. So if I go to lowest, you see that they've stopped kind of moving so quickly. If I go to highest, they move a little bit quicker. Well, or much quicker. And this is a multiple choice poll here. And now with this one, again, you can configure this to where your audience can respond at this link, at your custom link, or they can text your screen name to a number and then they'll type ABC123. And then you can also have a custom option here. So if you want to say A1 or B2, etc., so on and so forth, you could do that. If you want to create like a custom keyword. However, if you scroll down, you'll see that they'll be populated already. If we click this option, so audience will type an auto-generated code for each response. And they'll text one of these codes to this number instead of your screen name. But if we do our own custom, we can do that. And we present. If we present, they'll type the screen name to join, and then they'll text one of your custom keywords. But if you want to eliminate the join in the poll followed by a keyword, you can just click the keyword option, and then you'll have that saved. And with multiple choice, you have the bar chart option, the column chart option, as well as the donut chart. So that's kind of poll everywhere in a nutshell. And of course, with the other options, if you want to, if you have, you see the clickable image of a map. If you have your own map, you can do that. So let's say you have a map of like your home state. You could also, use one of those. You have a couple of preset images there, but if you have an image of your own, you do have the option of inputting that image there. And then you can kind of click. Create. And then participants will respond at the link above. And let's go with this, like, where are you from? All right, so my response has been recorded. And now if you want to click somewhere on, let's go back to the previous. And we've got these regions, okay? So with these, if I want to see what people clicked on, I don't know, a particular segment of the country. So let's say some of these regions I clicked out, I may see that folks have clicked in this region more than not. So we can kind of conclude from there that people may like the West, you know. But I'm gonna click one as a guest, and okay. And you see this region populates with a number. Now I don't actually need these regions. I mean, it's not a requirement, but kind of gives you an idea. As to how these clickable image type of activities can be utilized. and they probably work well in a geography course. So you see Poll Everywhere has a lot of neat stuff that you can do. And if you have medium-sized classes, you really don't have to pay anything. And even if you have larger classes, you can get an inexpensive plan if you go with certain plans. You can save, you can get a lot out of this without paying too much money. I hope that this video is of some help. It is a free flow video, okay? You know, there's no script. I hope that it helps you in some way. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out via email or type the questions below. And until we meet again, I would like to say goodbye. Have a nice weekend. Be safe. All right, I'm out.